birthday to us again.
Yeah,
To us this time.
happy birthday. To us, yes, to the red room,
And Wretched.
which is white. The room.
We're also not red.
Well,
No, that's not,
Not-
what
not
I.
now, but-
That's not what I meant.
okay.
You know, red.
Oh yeah, that kind of color.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, if you were red, we would still be at
Or
right.
pinkos.
Or pinkos, yes. So this is our second year of Red Room
Wretchedness.
as publishers. So yeah, the second year of Wretched. And let's do a little walk down memory lane.
You mean for the,
Shall
at the
we?
beginning or just the last year?
Well, let's start by the beginning.
Okay.
So this is
So
this.
is this a walk of shame?
No, I don't think it's. I think we should be. Okay, I'm not going to say proud, but still not the reason to be ashamed.
Not ashamed, yes.
So we started with Wretched Bastards, and that's what's free today as a gift. So let's
But
remind
is
you.
the new one, not the original?
Yeah, it's not the original one.
Because the original no longer exists.
No,
At least not
it
in
doesn't.
PDF.
I might still find it somewhere in PDF format, perhaps, but nah, well, I would be ashamed of of publishing it, that one now. But well, okay, that's how things work. People improve stuff, and we have improved. Not we haven't improved, but Wretched has improved.
You have improved. I'm doing the same shit. No, I'm not doing.
But yeah, the game has improved. My layout skills have improved, and the art has improved because it's not stock art anymore, and stock pictures, ugly stock pictures.
So it's
not-
art devil's work.
It's a devil's work,
But
but
it's
sometimes it's
prettier.
not the devil's work. Sometimes it's Jayton Ackles' work, and he's not the devil.
No, he's a
And,
Spanish.
Christian Villarosa's work, and he's not the devil as well. And well, that was the start of everything. So if you want to know the start, because even though there's improvement, but it's still the same thing. It's the same setting. It's the same game. It's the same. In general, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It was developed and expanded, but it's the same thing. The basics is the same. Especially the rules was the thing that changed the most in these 2 years. More than the setting. The setting was expanded. More than changed, it was expanded. Things that were picked up from one setting to the other, and eventually came out Country and then Epoch, and the Wretchedverse expanded, and that's one of the reasons why the second editions have more setting, because what was supposed to be different settings using the same rules turned out to be the same universe, and so things were retconned or whatever whatever the word I should use for this, because factions that were created in one place were used in another, and creatures and beyond, and magic. In the beginning, magic in Wretched Bastards was
Type of psionics.
well, it wasn't, but it was at the same
Yes.
time. So the concept was already that it was really psionics and not really magic.
But people thought it
But
was
people
magic.
thought it was magic. But I used at the time magic rules. But then that was one of the things that would change, because in the meantime we started having truly psionic rules for other games, and then the original ones had to be changed.
Magic.
Yeah. So there was and Conjurer Magic was the real magic, not the magic in Wretched Bastards. And with time, we might say that probably even in the Antilia, there were conjurers, but not that many.
Because that comes from the beyond.
Yeah, and people weren't really aware of that. So what they were aware of, because they were closer to those times, was the influence from the Adityan race, which had created. And this is something that I'm talking about because I'm picking up that again for the next thing, and now we are moving.
I'm going to jump ahead to the future
Yes.
now.
You are?
No, I'm asking.
Oh, yes.
So now, Wretched Bastards is free, the second edition.
Yes.
Tomorrow, it's the future, is what you're doing.
Yes, tomorrow what I'm doing, and today as well, is Wretched Armageddon, which will be the next setting. And it's one that we have been talking about.
It's going to be another weird melt pot of ideas that nobody's going to like except us.
Possible, but we are doing this because we like to do this, so I hope some more people will be crazy enough to enjoy this. So what is Wretched Armageddon? We have mentioned before that we wanted to do a post-World War II setting with some kind of inspiration taken from Mutant Chronicles, both the game and the movie, which by the way is an awful adaptation of the game. But there are some...
and we can't see it anymore because Ron Perlman is unhinged and it annoys me to see
No, I
him.
can't.
But that is a detail.
Well,
yes.
at the time...
The movie is awful anyway.
Well,
it has good ideas, but it's really bad at the same time.
It is not realized in a competent way. There are some good actors there. There's Thomas Jane, who does a nice role, and who else is it? Malkovich?
Yes, but I think he dies right in the beginning.
He's just the small
and
role.
that British
Malkovich.
guy that I never remember that I've seen him in a lot. I don't know his name.
No, I'm not sure if he's British. Well, he's British. I'm not sure if... I think he's Irish. Maybe.
Okay, Irish, British, okay. Someone's going to kill me.
I'm not sure if they like
You look all the same to us. You sound all the same to us.
Yeah, well...
from the islands.
Yeah. But that's it's difficult to understand where that takes place. Well, anyway, the thing that we want to take from there, because the movie has it as well, is that diesel punk
in the demons.
In the demons, yes.
In the fall of humanity. That's why it's Armageddon.
That's all. Those are the concepts, and the fact that there are various factions. But in this case, obviously, this is partly historical, not just science fiction or science fantasy, as is the case.
We are in the Second World War.
We are not right now.
No, we
but
are in
yes,
the third, but
So at the time we were in the Second World, at the ending of the Second World War. So what happened? The war is more or less the same, but there are some small changes. The small changes are events that are real but fictionalized, and which caused 7 seals to be broken. And what were those seals? Those seals were created a long time ago, and those were your creation, not mine. Those were the seals that were created in Antillia.
By the editions?
By the editions, and in this case by the not the editions themselves, but by the sacred orders that follow the editions. So we are talking about the Anta Audelia Uta,
Daughters of Xenia, Priests of Zardos, Arachne Brotherhood,
Followers of Tetrick, and I added to those Ordocaos, which now is a sacred order. It wasn't mentioned as that. Azatot
is an addition.
Yes, Azatot is the name of an addition, and I created a new one, which is, for now, it's called Brotherhood of Yamamoto. Yamamoto is Japan and Antillia. I might change it, but for now it's, for me...
and this was invented for darkness, actually.
The
part of the seals, I think it was later invented for darkness, because that's when I invented the Devourer.
Okay, so they are
they probably were in the second, it's the connections, but I don't think that they were, the sacred orders were invented in
Bastards, yes.
In the original, but then the idea of the seals came later.
Okay, I didn't remember that. Well, anyway, in this particular case, because in Wretched Darkness and Wretchedverse in general, I left it a little bit vague, or not bit,
we like vague.
Entirely vague. If Antillia was the past, the very very distant past, which was unrecorded, or if it was an alternate reality which had seeped through,
or a twin planet somewhere.
Or twin planet. In this case, in this particular case, it must be or not well. Yes, it must be because there have to be the seals, and the seals are physical things. So to be physical, Antilia must be an unrecorded past, like a bit like what The Witcher, I think, and Conan,
Yes.
Where those stories took place on Earth. I mean, but so long ago that there are almost no remnants, but there are some, I guess. Those weird things that archaeologists sometimes find could be traced back to Hyperborea or Antilia in this case. So in the case of Wretched Armageddon, Antilia is not a different planet, it's actually Earth, but everything was destroyed. The last thing that the humans, or the last important thing the humans were able to do was to close the gates to hell or to the beyond.
In this case,
with,
beyond.
With those seals, but they were already in big decline, and they weren't able to save their civilization, and there were still demons lying around. So eventually humanity was remade and civilization reborn, without elves and dwarves and all that shit.
Yeah, because we need them.
Yeah. But there were some remnants, obviously. Some of the remnants were the relics from the Aditins, which is part of the Wretchedversary anyway. And the other thing was the seals themselves. The seals are still there, and they are still closing those gates, those large gates into the beyond, from where the Devourer's influence entered our realm, our reality. But during World War II, those seals are going to be broken. And the factions will be involved, but they don't know, because the new factions, they have the same names, and they have some...
but they don't have the complete knowledge.
They don't have the complete knowledge. They have some knowledge, they have adapted, they have...
part of it is wrong, because that is with time, knowledge gets lost, and what they think they know, it's not exactly their sense. Truth is not exactly the truth.
Exactly. It makes sense, and it makes sense that the last thing that they did, which before disappearing and before the absolute decline of the civilization, was creating those seals. So the information about that last part didn't last long. It wasn't recorded, or it was just...
In the first, they would know that the seal was important, but maybe they didn't know what. In some would think that it was something that should be opened and broke.
Yes, well, in the case of Ordo Chaos, they are the only ones who know there was a seal, and they tried to break it, or they tried to find it. Well, and they knew there was a way to call their deity, which is... they call it Azathoth, but in this case, now they are...
It used to be a crazy edition that wants to destroy the world and is in league with the Devourer.
I guess that's it. It would be a Scourge of the Devourer, right? The Scourge of the Devourers, or the other thing, the Ostrakon, which is...
The Ostrakon is it's...
well, one or the other, anyway. So the Ostrakon is a specific style of Scourge of the Devourer.
And mutated, yes.
And the Scourge is a servant, a human, or in this case it would be an Adityan servant of the Devourer. And some people during World War II will be, obviously, Scourge.
It's not going to be Hitler, because that's obvious.
Petain will be a Scourge. The several factions, I still haven't gotten into that, but I have some ideas. Well, I know the Nazis will be one of them, of course.
But the Nazis are going to be the good guys.
Yes, this time I know that. No, well, they are no. There will be no good guys in this case. No one will be the good guys, unless you or can say it in a different way. The humans are the good guys, and the bad guys are the demons. So the Nazis compared to demons are also the good guys. So, but there will still be a war between the factions, not. As you said before, that it will be a cold war. So between the human factions, there will be a cold war that sometimes erupts into a hot or warmer war. But the true war will be between humans and the creatures from the beyond, the entities, which include the Malakodas and their servants.
So it's a post-World War II game in which nobody won the war.
Yes.
Because, we were invaded by demons.
even though the last things in the war, so Germany was occupied, and the bombs fell in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So those it was all set to end, but then the demons came.
So the Nazis are the resistance.
The Nazis, no,
they're resisting well.
Yes, no, I'm going to change that because Nazis must have technology. So the Nazis have a secret plan. They have in the last days of the war. Well, in this case, it's
they
not.
They went away to Brazil.
No, well, yeah, it could be that, but not really. In the last days before losing the war, in this case, they don't really lose it. They established contact with the maquinatores, and they have some tricks up their sleeves, and those will be revealed now. Secret moon base. Yes. They must have a moon base.
Someone needs to have a moon base.
That depends. Yes. That depends on the span of time that I'm going to.
But I think that
But they'll have to have large lizards that they are going to use as horses.
But on Zedek, of course, it's ridiculous that, what about the Nazis? It's something the fault of the woke that now, but we have to have Nazis.
Of course we have.
And they have the best uniforms.
Obviously, they have Hugo Boss uniforms. Okay, so about the others, well, I'm not sure about those yet. There must be a religious nut faction, and I'm thinking
the
about
Catholic
Church, probably we are part of that.
Yes.
I mean the Portuguese and the Spanish and
the
Italian.
and the Italian. Yes, that makes sense.
So we will be the religious nuts. Because they are demons, right? They are not really the same demons, but they are demons.
Yes.
And for
and
them,
you can take other European, Malta, for example, they are also very Catholic, and you can have Knights of Malta.
Yes, okay. Those will be the religious nuts. And then we'll have, the Japanese will still be the Japanese, obviously. We might.
As a different type of nuts. They also have technology.
Yes. We might, of course, there will not be the axes anymore. They will be broken. Italy will be obviously the leaders of the religious nuts, which I have to find a name for them.
Especially because they had fascist regimes at both Portugal,
so
Spain,
there was already
they will all be aligned.
The connection was already in terms of politics, so it will be moved into something different, into a theological faction. Then, then there are French. I'm not sure about the French now. Probably we were thinking about a possible faction that
they're going to be allied with the different.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense that the French will be aligned with the
and invaded. In that way, you can do some adventures in France. Invaded by monsters.
And possibly not just France, maybe Belgium as well. And I don't know, but we'll discuss that later. And then there will be the British and the Scottish and the Americans, obviously. The Americans must be the heroes, right? Unless if you don't do that, people won't buy it.
I suggested that
the
Americans would be the scourges of Devour, but it's like, no, we don't want to get our customers mad.
Also, we are taking some inspiration from Mutant Chronicles. So the US is capital.
Yes,
the
exactly.
Capital is
a mega corporation.
Yeah, well, it's not. I'm not going to copy that much,
yes,
but it will be the spirit
with some inspiration
of the 1950s.
From Fallout also.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. The 1950s spirit.
But probably not that good because if they lost the war, they had some problems.
Well, in this case, yeah. And then the Russian, but that's a bit obvious, right? The Russian are the Russian. The Soviets, not the Russians. The Soviets will be the Soviets, as they usually are. And then we can think about something else.
Something for the British.
Something for the British and perhaps Africa. I don't know, maybe. The Middle East, I don't care. But I think Africa should be something. At least North Africa, Tangier, Havalidad must be something. Possibly even maybe something related to our version of it. Because this will be, I'm not sure if when the year this will be in taking place, but
how it goes.
It might be in the 50s probably.
With the interzone.
Possibly 10 years later. I don't think I want to go into the 60s That would be too much, but maybe in the 50s. So 10 years.
Yeah, it will be good for the 50s.
I think so. So that's you can stick in there a little bit of Fallout as well. Power armors and all that. I want power armors in this. So okay, so with all these ideas, this might take a little bit longer.
And with the religious nuts, we can have a sacred order of warriors that are just male, of course, because they're religious nuts. Yes, wink wink.
Well, we have Knights of Sidonia.
Yes. But
aren't they all male? I'm not sure about that. Well, the priests of Zardos are definitely
yes,
all
they
male.
are. Well, we never talk about the Knights of Sidonia. They are knights, so they are supposed to be male. When
Yes,
they were,
yeah.
at least when
Of
they
course
existed.
they are. Yeah. Well, in space, I'm not sure, but in this case, yeah, they would be. And probably I will have to create some connections between the Wretched factions and these factions. Some will be aligned with, or not, it depends. I'll have to think about the logical...
how to align them.
I think, well, the daughters of Xenia are already aligned with the Soviets, and they will be still aligned with the Soviets. There are some that
yeah, the
are
priests of
also-
Zardos should be easy to align. They're already aligned with the Catholic Church.
Yeah, the
and they are
priests of
priests.
Zardos, yeah. Well, not entirely.
No, but they can be.
They can
It's
be
easy
now, yes.
to be.
They can convert to Christendom.
To
Some
be
of the
witch
others a little
hunters.
bit more difficult. Knights of Sidonia could also be, but they are probably more like loners, I think. They should do their own thing. Ordo Chaos is probably going to be destroyed because
Yeah, they can't.
they
cannot exist.
that's their
Well, I'm thinking Bastards, there's a connection between the priests and the knights, so they can both be aligned.
Okay.
In this case, with the Catholic Church.
makes sense, yeah. With probably the Knights of Sidonia being a little bit more like a religious order rather than really part of the church, and the others I will think about that later. This was a brainstorming.
Yes.
Not live because they're not live, but almost live.
Aren't we alive?
No, we are live, but you're not live. So I think this is information. Some of this quite new.
Yes.
We just
Yes.
came up with it.
Yeah, because we were brainstorming yesterday at dinner,
Yes.
but it wasn't very productive.
No, because I haven't. I still had to do some stuff, and this morning
I
I was
just gave
working
him
on
some
that.
ideas. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
you should do this.
Tomorrow-
you should do that.
Tomorrow I'll probably have even more to get more ideas, but well, yeah. Today in the morning I was thinking about the breaking of the seals, which is important, very important in this case, the most important thing, and how to connect it with the several Wretched factions and the other factions eventually. Okay, so this is still in the works and to be in the works for some time. So buy our stuff.
Yes.
Buy our stuff. So I
use
can-
the code.
Yes, use the code.
Wretchedversary and buy stuff so Miguel can work on this quietly and don't rush it up.
Yeah. And in the meantime, you are.
Yes, I
finishing
am
that.
almost finishing something. I decided, because it was yesterday, that I was almost having more ideas for the stories. Like, no, stop that. Just finish what you already written. So that's what I'm working on.
If you have
finishing
more ideas,
everything.
you can just leave it as possible plot hooks.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
going to do.
Instead of developing.
I have a stupid ideas that now I'm going to leave as possible, like I did in other things. If you want, you can use this.
Exactly. So you don't have to develop
Yeah.
it.
I'll tell you
can
offline
just-
what is the idea because it's too stupid and I don't want to share it here.
Okay.
Because you're probably going to say that's a stupid idea.
What
But I need
else?
to decide what I'm going to write next because I'm hoping on still free. Well, today's Thursday. Yes, Freedom
Yes,
Day. So I'm
yes.
thinking about finishing this one, the latest on Monday. So I still have a week to start thinking about something new.
Okay, so we'll talk about that
Yeah.
later. We'll decide that. Okay, so again, I remind you, today is Wretched.
And Freedom Day in
Wretchedversary Day.
Portugal.
Yes, in Portugal it's Freedom Day or something like that. I'm not sure what is it called in English, if it is called something in English.
The 25th of April.
Yeah, well, 25th of April, yes,
Yeah.
it is. But it's 25th of April in other places.
It's
as
everywhere.
well.
Yes.
Not everywhere.
Yeah, okay.
In Mars, it's not. Mars. Maybe. Maybe we can have some basic. No, no. I'm going too far. But the moon.
That's going to be the moon, yes.
probably,
Because if it's
yeah.
Mars, it has to be the
Yeah.
Americans.
Yeah, yeah. No, don't copy too much.
Yes, I know.
Don't copy too much. But the moon base is different.
Well, you can have
Nazis
the
on the
Nazis
moon.
and the Americans fighting for the moon.
We could have that. Yes, yes. Is it too much in the 50s? I don't know.
No. Oh, but I actually have another idea. Is also one thing that the Americans could have developed is they could have, since they broke the seals with the Beyond and they know the Beyond, they could have created a way to open gates and have commerce, you know, with other realms in the Beyond. That could be a way for them to develop economically in an Earth that is destroyed.
Well, it's not supposed to be entirely destroyed. It's
Yes, more or less.
kind of, yeah, in ruins. Well, it will be something like a post-apocalyptic Earth, but not as bad as Fallout. Something more in the middle, in between that. Okay, so these are the news, and what was I saying? Oh yeah, and since this is our anniversary, remember we have one free book for you, which is Wretched Bastards, 2nd edition. Pick it up for free, and if you like it, buy something.
Or if you like it, buy it on paper on Lulu.
Yeah, it's on paper as well. I think it's hardback and softcover. Yeah, both. And there's still a coupon code for the next 5 days or 6 days. I'm not sure. Well, until the end of the month. Wretchedversary, 30% discount on every Wretched book. And that's it.
That's it. Bye bye.
Bye bye.